So GDPR is something that's going to change the way in which organisations have to protect data to such an extent that I don't quite think organisations have really either got the knowledge required to understand what it means to them or how to deploy it. And actually there isn't much time to do it within, because they're talking about, should this be adopted as legislation, they're talking about execution from 2018. That's not very far away given the implications of what's involved. And the fact that Europe has a slightly different approach to perhaps North America, where in North America breaches are quite publicly made, or people are made aware of them quite publicly. In Europe, that's not the case as yet. GDPR will also change that. So most organisations don't know that they've been breached for in excess of 200 days. That's a long time if you're traversing a network. Whereas with GDPR, you've got 3 days. So the sheer implications of what it means and how people address it is one dimension. There's also then what community or what third-party network do I have that equally has to adhere to this legislation to make sure that I'm ultimately compliant in conjunction with those organisations and the way they deploy it. What we're seeing is an interesting dynamic, and if I apply a very general perspective, which is the 80-20 rule, we're seeing something like less than 20% of traffic within a data centre being north-south, yet an organisation will typically spend 80% of their funding on securing the perimeter. And it's not about not securing the perimeter, it's about being cognizant of the balance that says, well, actually I've got another dynamic at play here, which is the east-west traffic. For customers that we're talking to, it's 70% or more of their traffic is server-to-server within the context of a data centre. That's east-west. But the money's not being spent on protecting what you could describe as the soft underbelly, where someone with malice or not inadvertently might click on a link that they think is safe and isn't. But if they're within that perimeter, you are then exposed to people traversing the network laterally. So in summary, going from a scenario that says less than 20% of my traffic has 80% of budget spend versus 80% of my traffic within has negligible spend, and VMware has a capability to redress the balance and deliver distributed firewalling within the data center.